All right, so Badgr is the application in Canvas to integrate digital badges. And so today we're going to talk about, like I mentioned, why use badges and a gamification in your classroom, and some resources for you to look at. And then we're going to look at, you might already have Badgr set up and you don't know it, or you have set it up already. And let me look at our badge experience here. No experience. Okay, Ms. Payne, great. So we'll have all that for you as well. And then, so we'll start from the basics. Then we're going to look at how to create badges. I think this is the most fun part of it. Is you could brand your school, you could brand your grade level, you could brand your Canvas course, and you can have students actually develop the badges as well. So this could be something where you're integrating some media art, some digital art skills into your classroom. And then we'll look at how you track progress and what it looks like from the student's view, if I get that today in Canvas. And then we'll also look at a course completion badge, which is where your students would complete a whole course in Canvas. So kind of the culmination of everything they would have done in that Canvas course for the quarter, the semester, the year, even depending on how you have them. Okay, so why use badges? So this is on slide 3. If you want to look at the screen in Zoom, or if you want to just follow on your own, I'll reference the screens so you don't have to go back and forth. I will actually have you come back to look at my Canvas course in a little bit. But it's for engagement and fun. This is actually a video from Twitter that I saw the other day from an Imagine Learning classroom, where the students made enough points with gamification to put a pie in their teacher's face. There can't be anything better, except possibly where Mr. Reed and I actually would participate in the dunking booth at our, and that was just, students paid some money to do that, but, and it was kind of gross, but pie in the face, things like that are amazing, and the students just love it. So for engagement and fun, it creates that sense of community in your classroom. Another link I have here, if you want to click on this later, is a classroom that took money. They actually had monies. They turned in their points for money so that they could do charitable works for people that were affected by a fire. And so it could be something like that, where maybe you get sponsors from your community liaisons that could sponsor points that your students develop through gamification, and then, develop empathy and paying it forward in your classroom. And I really thought that was a neat idea. Other ideas too, or why you should use gamification and badges, is career readiness. This is actually a link to the U.S. Army's gamification and badge system that they use. And there are tons of businesses that are using digital badges. Microsoft, and because I'm sure maybe you've been on a platform before, maybe like Edpuzzle or Microsoft, Minecraft has them. Lots of different teacher platforms, like our technology platforms, are using basically digital badges, and I'm like hooked on them. Like, my email signature is stupid, I know, but like I love digital badges. So I'm sure you've made fun of it. It's fine. I love it. But and it's so I remember like what I've done, actually. It's more just because I'm getting old and I can't remember anything. So you've probably seen digital badges before, but outside of, technology integration tools, IBM is actually using, I'm going to actually click on this link here. I'm again on slide 4, and I clicked on the business use, because I want to show you the data. I'm a big data person as a former math teacher. So I wanted to scroll down here and show you what IBM's data came up with. It's a little bigger here, but they did online courses for, I think it was mostly, it might have been HR. A lot of are associated with HR things. It would be great maybe if the stuff that we had to do at the beginning of the year had badges too, all of our videos that we have to watch in Frontline. But this is triple growth in every metric that they saw. So completing the courses, their assessment pass rates, they saw triple growth when they incorporated the badge program. So I thought that was amazing. So that just goes to show that there is engagement when you use a digital badge or gamification system. So, and there's some more links on here where you could read about it. There's a couple different also digital badge systems. So what they used, you'll see in here is open badges, but we have Badgr integrated because we use Canvas, and we only have the free version. There is a pro version involved as well. So that's just a little information about where digital badges are used and why to use them. So there's also some articles on slide 5 and some quotes from those articles about using digital badges. And I think anytime that you can bring in play or some game into your classroom, it takes away from the stress that students can feel and the anxiety based on grades. So on the bottom here in the speaker notes, I put focus on mastery of content. So I could remind you that this really will push for mastery instead of a grade. Even though we do, have grades, and you've had students before maybe that didn't care about grades at all, or who cared too much about grades, this is something that could hit both of those types of groups. But I really like it for just you the mastery, and that's what we're looking for. And it's student-centered, it's empowering, it can be motivational and enjoyable. You can have a reward system based on it. So that's just a little research about digital badges. If you click on the circle on slide 5 for each of those, it has the article linked. So you can click on those and then go to the article if you want to read more. But I think it's really great integration tool to use because of that focus on mastery and less on the grade. And it's a playful activity as well. And then I did want to give you some strategies to follow. So I'm a big fan of Casey Bell, who is big in technology integration, especially for Google. And she's done a podcast on digital badges in the classroom. And I'm going to click on the image that is on slide 6 and take you out to that podcast link if you'd want to listen to it later. But she has a great, actually printed this out from the Teacher Resource Center the other day, but she's got a great graphic here down here at the bottom about just how to kind of backwards plan for this authentic assessment. So she's got determining the unit of study, planning the lessons of learning, identifying the measurable objectives, and then that's where the badges would come in. And so they submit evidence, they earn the badge, they stack their badges, and then they can have this master badge. So that just gives you kind of some strategy for and some steps for using those badges in your classroom. The big thing about Badgr is that in Canvas, it's only associated with module completion. So it would be great that with assignments or tasks, we could have that credential that goes with that standard, which you can still do, but we have to incorporate it with a module completion. So we kind of have to get creative about how that would work in terms of micro credentials and mastering standards. But I still think it is worthwhile. On Thursday, I'm going to do a Google Classroom gamification with digital badges using an extension. So if what you see here in Canvas isn't enough for you, if you want to come at that, and you could have like a separate place for your badge system, you could check that out as well. All right. So how are we doing so far? You feeling good about badges? Are you ready to go? Do we have any big questions there? I'm going to get in the chat here.
Would you mind sharing the link one more time? I apologize. I had to switch devices.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay, so we're going to get started in setting up your Canvas course. And so, like I mentioned before, if you came in after I said it, I've got all of the instructional videos for you to do what we're going to do today. So if you want to just follow along and look, or if you actually want to get started, I'll give a little time for that. If you already have something started too, and you want to go ahead to the other slides and then come back and join us later, that's fine as well. I want to make this beneficial for you today, so you're getting the most out of your time. So we've got a few steps in getting started. The first one we need to do is we need to create an account for you in Badgr.io. And two things there, it's not Badgr.com, and it's not Badgr with an E in it, or an A. I don't know how to spell Badgr. I know how to spell Badgr for the app. So Mr. Reed has put that link in the chat. And just to make sure that you don't spell it wrong, it's also linked on slide 8 in step 1. And you can also click on the circles that are there to get to the next steps, which are on the slides after. But what we have to do is create that in Badgr. So I'm going to go out and show you what that looks like. So if you want to just get started in a separate tab with Badgr.io, or if you want to watch me do it first in the Zoom here, I'm already going to have mine set up, but in our video, the instructions are for someone that hasn't set it up yet. So when I do the Badgr.io, I'm going to come to my sign in, and I want to sign in at the top here. You're going to do this already. You're going to sign in with Google. So don't hit the create account just yet. We're just going to hit the sign in and hit sign in with Google, because we want it to connect with our single sign-on. Now you won't see this. This is where I've already gotten set up, but this will look like it after I set up. So let me go back and look at that slide there. I'm going to click on my orange circle to go to the slide so you can kind of see what this looks like. Again, you don't have to create the account. You're going to click sign in. It's going to ask you to select the United States, and then you're going to hit sign in with Google. And then you'll type in your school email and password if you're prompted. That would be if you were not in Google or on a Chromebook right there. So again, you're going to go to Badgr.io with only one vowel in it, and then click the sign in at the top, not create account. Choose Google to sign in, and then type in your school and email. After it prompts you to choose United States and accept the agreement. And then that's it for right now. Okay. So some of you might already have that set up. And I'm going to give you just a minute here to do that. And Mr. Reed also put that link in the chat, the live link. Thank you. Okay, so once you have your Badgr account set up, then our next step is then we're going to make sure that you have the Badgr app in your Canvas course. And so we want to make sure that that's added to each course where you want to use badges. And you can click on this green circle. I'm on slide 8 to take you to that slide for instructions, or you just can continue with the slides. Okay, so we first want to check and make sure you've got the app and that you have badges in your navigation bar. So I'm going to go into, if you want to join me on the Zoom, if not, and you already know you have Badgr, you can go ahead to the next steps. But I'm going to go into my modules here. I've chosen a module where I've used badges before. So 2 things. The first thing is I want to go to settings, which is down in your white navigation with the red letters all the way to the bottom in settings. And then you have 5 tabs at the very top. So again, choosing a module, going down to choosing a course, going down to settings, and then you click on apps. And then I want to see what's installed. So you have all the apps that are available to you, not installed, and then installed. That's in the secondary tab system that's under external apps. You'll click that, and then you want to look for Badgr US. And so look for that. If it's installed, we're great. If not, we got to do a few steps. So I'm going to give you a second to go into your Canvas course. You can just choose one if you just want to look at what that looks like. So I'll give you a second to do that. And if you wouldn't mind in the chat, when you go to look at to see if you have Badgr as an app, again, going into a Canvas course and going to settings, and then the apps tab at the top. If you will let me know in the chat if you have the Badgr app for your Canvas course or if you don't. And again, you go to the Canvas course, go down to settings, and then click on where your in-course details, go over to apps. Yay, we got a couple of people. Okay, Ms. Slosh does not have the app. Okay, so we've got a few people that don't have it. Great. Ms. Bragg's got it. Awesome. Okay, so for those of you that don't have it, so we've got 2 people that don't have it. We're going to go back to that apps, and we're going to actually add the Badgr app. We're going to go to we're actually going to type in, we can go here to all, and we're going to type in Badgr as a search. So if you go to all and then Badgr, and then click on Badgr US. So again, go to settings, then apps, then type in Badgr. Oh, poo. Sorry, Miss Bragg. Oh. Okay, you have it. Good. saying, because I don't know why your password wouldn't work with a Google sign on. Let me think about that for a minute. Okay, and then if you don't have the app, you'll hit add app. And then it's going to ask for a consumer key and a shared secret. Those are actually listed, if I can get in your Badgr account. So those are going to be in your Badgr account. So if you'll come back to the Zoom screen, if you don't have the Badgr as an app yet, and I am back in my badgr.com account. And Ms. Bragg, maybe if you click out again from badges and try to sign in again with your Google, that might help as well. And then where you see app integrations, under your little person profile name, you'll see a little person profile in the top right-hand corner. Click on that and then click on app integrations. And then you should see in there Badgr for Canvas. And it will give you, although mine already has, I don't want to revoke mine because then you won't see it. It should give you a shared secret. Clicked on the right.
So under my little guy, it only says sign out. I don't have those other two options that you on your Badgr. Yeah, right there. So you have profile and app. Mine just says sign out.
So that you can see it when it hasn't been done yet. Now this is a one-time thing, so you only have to set up once. I can find the instructions to that.
I might be able to help.
And I didn't put them in. Oh, there it is. It's in slide. No.
If you click on
Shoot.
Canvas LTI, it will bring up the shared secret and stuff. I can share my
Put the
screen.
integration in there. I wish I could show this to you without using it that way.
There's somebody trying to talk, but it's really hard to hear them.
Oh, that's probably me.
Oh,
Yes, that's
that
you.
one. Oh, thanks.
If you clicked on,
Oh, there it is. Thank
If you
you.
click on-
Okay, so let me
yeah.
do those steps one more time. Thank you, Claudette and Jason. So if you click Canvas LTI, thank you. So you're going to go back to your Badgr, click on, again, the little person icon in the top right-hand corner, go to app integrations, and then click the first one that you see on the left there, Canvas LTI. And then all you have to do is copy and paste the consumer key and the shared secret into your Canvas course detail. So you'll just copy and then paste the consumer key and the shared secret, and then hit add app. Great, thank you guys. Got it. Oh, great, thank you. Yes, you do. You have to do that for each course that you want to use the badges. Good question. Okay, now there's one more thing we want to set up before we get into what it looks like. Then you'll be fine. Yeah, Ms. Diaz-Pena, you're absolutely fine. If they're all in one course or you've integrated them into one course, that's fine too. Yeah. Okay, so over here on the right-hand side in my white navigation bar, I have a word called badges. So what we want to do is make sure that you have that badges. If you just added the app, for the two of you that didn't have it, you might want to refresh so that you make sure that that kind of got in there okay. Hit the refresh button at the top. If you don't see badges on the side here, then we can add that really quickly into the students' navigation so they can see it. And what this will allow them to do is keep track of their badges and also see a leaderboard. And the leaderboard can have incognito names. So you can make it where the names aren't the same. And I'll show you that in just a bit. So once you got your badge set up as an app, and you've set it up for all of your courses, go in there as well while you're in settings and go to the navigation tab at the top. And so what you can do is you just find where badges is here. If you don't see it, you'll see it down here in the bottom. You'll see the word badges. Click and hold and drag it to the top. So I'll just do it. I'll take it out here and then I'll show you. So if you have badges down here, this means that the page is disabled and it won't appear in the navigation. Doesn't mean you can't see it, but the students wouldn't be able to see it. So I'm going to click and hold and then drag it to where I want to go. So, and this, I can order this too. So I'm just going to do mine in alphabetical because I'm a nut. And then Mr. Reed just mentioned that you can use the snowman, the little dot, dot, dot to the left if you don't want to click and drag. And so that will allow students now to see badges and their own badges as well as the leaderboard. And I'm going to show you what that looks like in just a second. Okay. So I'll give you a second to try that. Look and see if you have badges. Go to your Canvas tab there. And then if not, just make sure that you save at the very bottom. And I always forget this. I should have told you that a minute ago. I'm so sorry. So at the very bottom, when you edit the course navigation, that save button is at the very bottom. So then you'll hit save. And again, that's in settings and it's in the navigation tab. So apps, to find the app, which most of us had, but we've got set up now for everybody. And then the navigation will bring that badges up into the course navigation. And then that's the one-time deal for each course. If you have your courses cross-listed, which are the join courses. Ms. Shalash, were you able to get the shared secret as well? Oh, okay, great. Oh, not yet. So we need to get that consumer key and the shared secret there.
Can you hear me?
So copy and paste both of those in there. Try that for me one more time. Maybe that'll work. So again, apps, you want to add that app by the search, and then where it says add app, it'll pop up that window to copy both of those. Sorry about that. So under here, you only have one option to sign out. Oh, pooey. Maybe try to sign, let's try to sign out and then sign back in by signing in with Google. So I'll show you in the Zoom window here real quick. You can sign out and then click the sign in and then sign in with Google. So don't create an account, just hit sign in with Google and use your school email and password. Ms. Bragg, let me know if you're having trouble too with that, if you don't get a Canvas integration, because I want to make sure that
Just a second ago, I was seeing the same thing you were.
So let me show you what this looks like from when you've already got your badge system set up. And then if you want to go ahead and go on and look at the other slides that we have there, that's fine too. But while I have this window open for you, I kind of want to show you what this looks like. And then we'll talk about how to get that set up. So that's a one-time deal. And now I'm going to click badges and I want to show you what I get as a teacher. This has already been set up, so we still have a few more steps to go. Okay, great. Thanks, Ms. Bragg. So in a few minutes, we're going to create an issuer in our badge system, And then we're going to look at how you can set up in the modules. But I wanted to show you this real quick while we're in here. So this is what you get for this badges link. As a teacher, I can see the objectives, and as a student, I'm going to see my own. It's going to look a little different on the student end. I've got the name. These are the names of each module where I've set up to receive a badge. This is the badge section, and then the type is complete. And that's all we get in terms of using Badgr for free in Canvas is a module completion. So that's going to be the type you're going to see. But then what you also have automatically set up once we do a few more steps here is you'll get to see students' progress, which I love this visual because then I can quickly see how my scholars are doing. And this was from Carter G. Woodson. These are some of my seniors and juniors. And so right here, you'll see what it looks like when they do receive the badge. It'll fill it in. When they haven't completed that module yet, based on the requirements I set up, it'll look like this. And then you'll also have a leaderboard. And I can change alias, like I can enable name sharing, or I can change it to not name share. And then I can look at badge award sharing, where they can see all of the badges that they have there. And you can even turn the leaderboard off if you don't want to use it. But you can see the aliases there. What I also can do is I can look at progress. Analytics is with the pro version, sorry. But I can click on that badge that Scholar Hurt got, look at the criteria. I can email the student the badge. I can also take the badge away. So if it was in error or you notice something that happened, like for example, the student cheated or something, that's all I can think of right now. But you can actually click on that badge and revoke it. So that's what it looks like on the teacher end. And if we have some time, I'll show you what it looks like on the student end, but they're basically seeing similar to what you have here, but their own progress and then the leaderboard. But I'll get to that in a little bit. So let's move on here. Now that you've got everything set up, we can issue badges. And so this is where when you create a module, you can set up module requirements and then create an issuer. The issuer is basically you're issuing the badges, but it doesn't have to be, it can just be an entity. So in that respect, I mean, if you want it to be your club, you could call it the Girls Who Code Club. Or if you wanted it to be a course, you could call it Media Arts, period 1, if you weren't using those badges over and over. So basically the issuer is just a place to store specific badges. If you are just going to use badges as, for all your classes and the same type of badges, then you could just create one issuer. So we had some hang up a little bit before on trying to figure out what that actually means. But it doesn't have to be a person, even though you would think that. So let's start with module requirements. So this is all that the Badgr app will issue is based on how you set up your module requirements. So I'm going to go back to if you want to come over to my Zoom again, I'm on slide 13 right now. If you're jumping ahead a little bit, we're at slide 13, but I wanted to show you what this looks like when you set up your modules. So has to be modules. So it has to be on module requirements. And so I've got a practice one here. I'll show you where I set it up already. So once I start a module, in fact, I'll just start one right now. It's going to be my module name. Practice 2. I'm going to add that module. Then I'll come here and I'll click on the snowman, and then I can set the requirements. I'm going to actually use that here so that you can see where I have actual assignments in it. So I'm going to edit it. And then I'm going to go down to the requirements section. So when I'm doing a new one, I'll show you that. There's no items in the module. So I have to have some items in the module before I can set the requirements. So that's another thing to just be aware of. So I'm going to go up here. I've got a link in here, and I also have an assignment. So now that I have those in there, published or not, I can actually then set up requirements. So you have lots of choices. This is really where you're doing the strategies for how you want to set up your micro credentials. Basically, you want to set up these micro badges, these digital badges. So you can just have them complete all of the requirements. Okay. You can have them move through requirements in sequential order. But what I like better, I think, would be, which again, it's completely up to you, but what I like better is that when you use the complete one of these requirements, and it can be all of them, I can go in then and select the part of that module that I have there. This is a link. So this is a content link. I also have an assignment in there called Pear Deck 2. And then this is where I can do all of the fun stuff. So this is just a link. It isn't an assignment. So all I can really require for them is to view the item if I want them to, or I can delete that and not even have it. I added it in there. Here, I've got an assignment, and this is where it kind of gets wonderful, is I can do lots of things with assignments. So as an assignment in Canvas, I can, again, just have them view the item. If it was just something I wanted them to read, and then maybe answer a question, but I don't care about the question, I would just have them view it. They can mark it as done. Maybe I want that extra thing where they've marked it as completed. Submit the assignment, which that could be where they turn something in, like Google Doc or a slide deck or a video, something of that nature. Or I can have score at least. So I'm going to click on that, score at least. And then my assignment was worth 10 points. So it'll put the point total there. And then I can put in a score. So those are your options. You're not going to see these pop up until you hit add requirements. And so I can go back in here and change the requirements to submit and score at least. Obviously it has to be submitted before it's scored, but that's where you put those requirements in, and you can get rid of them as fast as you put them in. I can add them in here and then put the view item. So this is where you'll do that thinking about what you want these digital badges to mean for your students. But again, this is where Badgr does its business, is right in here. You can still have prerequisites, but they're not mandatory and they don't tie in with the badge completion. So here it'll tie into the module, obviously, but for them to get access to the stuff, but that you have in that module. But this is where all the magic happens. And then I'll hit update module. And this is one thing I want you to be wary of. If you wanted to go in and do this with a module that you already have set up and published, you can. So let's say I had something from a few weeks ago and I want to start using digital badges with it. I can do that. Just make sure you put relock modules, because then what it'll do is it will go back and recalculate what the students have already done. So that's an important thing to remember too. Okay. So a couple things just to summarize there real quick. Badgr badges only will work with module requirements. We want to have stuff in the module already. So if you want to copy something from something you've done before so that you have assignments and so forth, you can add things in and then relock the module. And that will, again, change those requirements and go back and redo the badges for students. So you can definitely do that for work that's already been completed. So I'm just going to hit relock modules. Okay. So that is where the magic happens there. Okay. All right. So let's talk about you getting yours set up now. So how do I set up my issuer and my badges? That's on slide 14 now. If you've moved ahead a little bit, is how to set up the issuer and how to select badges for module requirements. So what we're going to do is I want you to look at it from your end, which is that you haven't actually set up an issuer yet. You can do it a couple different ways. In fact, I'm going to make this a little bigger for you so you can look at it. We're going to watch the video, a little bit of this video here on slide 14. So what you're going to see is you're not going to see an issuer.
Today we're going to talk about how to issue badges in Canvas using Badgr.io. And this is the great part where you actually can get this set up. And
where we're creating the issuer.
Or you
There's
can,
two places you can create the issuer.
Now
The first place is actually in Badgr.io.
Only one time.
So you can go back to your Badgr link
Remember, the
here.
issuer is just
And you, once you've signed in with Google,
a different issuer for each Canvas course if you're going to have a lot of
and
badges.
we can create the issuer. I can create another one here to show you create a personal issuer.
And so,
okay, and there's just one thing I want to show you that's kind of tricky. It doesn't take long to set up an issuer at all, but this will allow you to award the badges. You can put in an image of that yourself or your class icon or whatever you have. If you're branding your class and you've got an image to put there, it's great. It's got to have a name. And then this is always what is the weird thing, is the website URL. So this has to be a website, but it can just be your Canvas course website. And the way to get your Canvas course website is just to go back to Canvas, and whatever course you're in, you just copy the URL in the top of your navigation bar at the very top of your website where you type in your websites, and then just paste it in here. It really makes no matter to whether it's accurate or not. It just needs a website URL. So just make sure you put an issuer name. Again, this issuer name could be a course name. So maybe I want a peer tutoring course. So that's where I'm going to keep all the peer tutoring badges. Or if I want to name it after a club, like I mentioned before, or just your own name, you can have it, and then you just put in your own contact email and then a little description about it. It does require it, but you could put just badges for course, and then click the link and hit create issuer. And so now I'm ready to go. I've got an issuer in my course.
Susan, we have a question in the chat. Ms. Baker's school requires that they use Pages to deliver all their content in Canvas. So would she have to only do, like, would she be limited to the student saying
Ms. Baker, that's a good question. So you guys don't use assignments in badges, you just use Pages?
Yes, so we use the page, and then we are to link the assignment. You know how you can go to link course assignments or course, I think it's course.
Because we could change those. I'll have to get with you and we'll take a look at that. If you're using just Pages.
Okay.
We'll take a look at that in just a little bit. So I'll get with you on that because we have to use those module requirements. Okay, this also is where you can create badges, but it doesn't have to be. So I can create a badge in here by clicking create badge. And then I've got a couple different options. I can design a badge here, or I can put in a badge. So this again is a question for you to kind of answer for yourself. Do you want your students to make badges? Do you have time for that? Do you want to develop some badges on your own? Or you can do some just very basic badges in Badgr. And I'll show you what that looks like here. Again, I am in Badgr.io, and I've created my issuer now, and now I'm doing some badge work there. So I can go in here and I can change the shape. I can add an icon. I don't know why there's baby icons, but you can see you can search the icons, like you could do first place, or you could do a little pedestal there, or if you're working with addition, that didn't work. How about add? There we go. We could do addition, or if you're working in social studies and you want a globe or something in that nature, you could try to type those in. There's a globe. And then change some colors, do some customizing, name the badge, what that badge represents, which again could be an assignment or mastery. That could be a great place to put a standard, so that it's linked to that. And then this is all just, this is one field's required. So you could do just a copy and paste that description there. But it also has lots of other stuff that you could put in there. So that's creating the badge in Badgr, but you can, again, create badges in lots of different places, which we'll talk about later, excuse me. So once I've got an issuer, which again could be a person, and it could be, again, just an entity name for a course or a club, then I create those badges. So I either, again, create them here. I can keep adding a badge here in the create badge. I've got 6 badges so far. And I can create badges here, or I can create badges somewhere else. So there's pathways, which this pathway is, pathways are usually for the pro license. So there's not much in a pathway that we can do, but it's pretty neat as well. So I've got some badges here. So now it's ready to go. And that's the grunt work. So you getting this set up, you getting the badges in here, and those module requirements, and then it does the rest of the work. So again, setting the badges up and your course requirements is basically the big things that you have to do. But once you have those set up, then it is an automatic. It does the rest of this for you. You just have to click on badges, and then you let the students do the work. It's student-centered, it's automatic after you do those 2 things. So the module requirements and loading the badges into your issuer, and then you're good to go. So those are the 2 biggie things that we do in terms of issuing the badges. The module requirements on slide 13, the issuing the badges, and then that's it. Okay, so with the time we have left, which is just a few minutes, I'm doing pretty good here. I'm sure I'm going way too fast, but I've got these videos in here for you to look at later. A couple different ways, we're on slide 15 now, is to create the badges. We saw how you could do it in Canvas and Badgr.io, and you can actually create the badges from your objectives board here. So if you don't want to go out to Badgr.io, you don't need to. So mine's having a lovely time loading, but there is a place right in here to create those badges. And that's where you'll use the drop down to assign them as well. So we'll come in here. I was hoping it would do that, but it's not one to load. I'll come back to it in just a second. You can also create them in Adobe Spark. You could do logos, and that's a great way to tie in a branding if you want for a course or a class. And then Canva, just being careful with Canva because it does have an age requirement. I put the agreement down at the bottom here so you could see it for Canva. And those are just a couple of different places where you, outside of Badgr, where you could create badges. Then again, issuing the badges with your issuer, having the badges in there. And then we just want to make sure that you do the drop down to assign which badge is which. So once you have the badges in there as an issuer, you just would go to the drop down, which hopefully this is still loading. So I could show you that. And go back to it here one more time. Come on, buddy. not working well today. Come on. Okay, I'll give it a few more seconds, but I've got it in the video here. The drop down, you just drop down and it will show you the badges that you created, and then you just select a badge for that module completion. So it's pretty straightforward. Again, once you have the issuer set up, and then you put your badges in, those two big steps of having the badges set up and then having an issuer for those badges. So that's all in here. And I've got another link too where you can see out at Badgr some support that they put in here. I wanted to show you that. Not liking me right now. Sorry about that. Then here in this video on slide 18, I've got what it looks like from the student view. So I'm going to let you watch that later so you can see what it looks like from their end in terms of their progress and the leaderboard. And then the last thing I want to mention really quickly is the course completion. So you can actually make a badge that is for the whole course. So there's a great video here from Badgr that shows you how to set that up. You basically set up a separate module at the end of your course called like course completion, and it has prerequisites from the courses before. And then you'll have like a master badge that we looked at in Casey Bell's website. You have this great huge badge that they get at the end for completing the course, which I think is a really neat thing to do at the end of the year. And it's something you could even set up for this year. Okay. So that was a lot. I would love to work with you further. I'm going to help out here in a second to see if we can figure out what Miss Baker's got going on with her school's requirements. But I really appreciate you being here today. I hope it was helpful. And if you wouldn't mind on slide 20, filling out an evaluation form for me. And then tomorrow I will send you your own badge that looks like this, and a certificate, which your certificates will also be issued in Frontline. So you'll see those hours in Frontline if your school uses Frontline to keep track of PD, but also I'll send you a certificate as well and a badge so you can display those. But if you need any help with badges at all, or you want to learn how to get your own badges through some of our technology integration, please let me know. Send me an email or stick it in the chat there if you want me to follow up with you. It's also in our evaluation form if you want some follow-up time. And I appreciate you guys so much. I'm so excited that you're here and want to integrate technology tools there.
Thank you so
And
much.
I'll stay on for a little bit, but if you click that link in slide 20 for that evaluation form, I'd really appreciate it.
Appreciate it, Susan. Thank you.